So, in order to understand the two different types of conventions, a convention to write a new document, a new form of government, and a convention to amend a current form of government, we have to go to the Federalist Papers. Federalist Papers were written by Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, who later became our first Supreme Court Chief Justice, and James Madison, often called the father of the Constitution. They wrote these to the people of New York under the nom de plume Publius. They wrote these to them to encourage the people of New York to ratify the new Constitution. This was in 1787 and 1788, kind of as they were doing this after September, after the Constitutional Convention was done. And so these guys were trying to get the people of New York to ratify this Constitution, so they wrote all these letters. So let's go to, there were 85 letters in all. Let's go to the 85th letter down to the 10th paragraph of the letter. We're going to read what that says about the differences between the two kinds of constitution or conventions. So remember, there's a convention to write a new document that makes a new form of government, and a convention that simply modifies an existing form of government. Let's take a look at this. Federalist Paper number 85, paragraph 10. So it says, "It appears to me susceptible of absolute demonstration that it will be far more easy to obtain subsequent than previous amendments to the Constitution. The moment an alteration is made in the present plan, it becomes, to the purpose of adoption, a new one, and it must undergo a new decision of each state." This is what's key. The founders, when they put together the Constitution at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, they knew that each state would have to ratify it. This would be a new form of government that every state would have to agree to. And so they knew this. And this is what Alexander Hamilton in this one is saying. He goes, if we try to amend the proposal, the constitutional proposal that we're making, if New York says, well, I want this and I want that, and South Carolina says, well, I want that added, and Virginia says, well, I want that added. It said, no, let's not do that. Let's ratify it as is, and afterwards, amendments will be much easier, because if we make amendments to it now, it is a new document that must be completely re-ratified by every state instead of the 9 states required for amendment ratification after it's been ratified. So let's continue reading. So he said, it becomes, to the purpose of adoption, a new one, and must undergo a new decision of each state. To its complete establishment throughout the Union, it will therefore require the concurrence of 13 states. If, on the contrary, the Constitution proposed should once be ratified by all the states as it stands, alterations in it may be at any time be effected by 9 states. Here, then, the chances are as 13-9 in favor of subsequent amendments rather than of the original adoption of an entire system. So he's real simple. He's going, look, if we try to change what we currently have, it has to go through all the states again with the change. He said, just pass the one we have, then we'll work on amending it. This was particularly regarding the Bill of Rights, which they did as soon as they were done. They ratified it, and then they said, now we need a Bill of Rights. They put out a bunch of amendments. They got 10 of them passed. So that's what he's saying here in the Federalist Paper. He goes, look, a new document must be agreed to by all the states, a unanimous concurrence. Now, this is also covered in Article 7 of the Constitution, talking about the ratification. Let's go to Article 7. Article 7 of the United States Constitution reads the following: the ratification of the conventions of 9 states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution, between the states so ratifying the same. Now, right there, people go, oh, wait, see, it's all the same. Look, it only takes 9 to actually ratify. No, wait a minute. They had a form of government between them called the Articles of Confederation. They knew that if 1 or 2 or 3 states said, well, we want the Constitution, but the others didn't, that would be a major problem. And so they said, look, 9 states have to come together to ratify this in order for this to start to be of effect. But it did not say that the Constitution would then impinge on the remaining states. Look at that last line. It says, the convention of 9 states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution between the states so ratifying the same. Right there, they said, if you do not ratify this, you don't get to be a part of it. Rhode Island was the one holdout, and Rhode Island held out a long time until finally the United States, under the Constitution, said, Rhode Island, if you don't ratify it, we're kicking you out. You're not a part of it, because you weren't a part of the ratification process. Every state had to agree to the Constitution in order for it to be effectual with those states. This was a new form of government. But in the 85th Federalist paper, Hamilton clearly explains, but look, if we ratify it, we can then amend it later with only 9 of the states. Remember, we only need 3/4. Now that's still a super high bar, but we only need 3/4 to amend it afterwards. Let's also go to Federalist Paper 39, paragraph 11. So let's take a look at that. That it will be a federal and not a national act, as these terms are understood by the objectors, the act of the people as forming so many independent states, not as forming one aggregate nation, is obvious from this single consideration, that it is to result neither from the decision of a majority of the people of the Union, nor from that of a majority of the states. It must result from the unanimous assent of the several states that are parties to it, differing no otherwise from their ordinary assent than it is being expressed not by the legislative authority, but by that of the people themselves. So right there, again, he says, in order for this to take effect, it must be unanimously agreed to by the states. They get to join it. Remember, the states existed before the federal government. The federal government didn't go, oh, we got too much land here, we got to divide it up so that we know how to take care of it. This is the way it was in England. The king said, you go be a lord over that area, you go be a lord over that area, you be a duke over there. And they said, no, the states existed and they came together to make the federal government. The federal government was subservient to the states. And this has become a major problem in our world today. Thank you for watching that video. If you like that, remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe right up here. For other great content, take a look at our recommended video over here and see our playlist right over there. Remember to go to www.dustyfriday.com for great memes, news, videos, and my podcast available on all major platforms. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.